Invited and appreciate the invite to come in and try to delve a little bit deeper in the Apollo line for you guys. Try to answer some questions, open forum if you have any questions, or hey, what is this crossover to, or is that like the XYZ valve from this brand? This is the form we can kind of unravel all that. I've got some reference material, so that should be good stuff to throw in your desk books. Try to demystify some of this stuff. And any questions, please just jump in. I'd love to take the relationship to the next level. We're looking at becoming a more meaningful vendor for you guys, and I know it's not we've only been here for a little bit, so there's probably a lot of questions on familiarity issues that you guys might have. So we're here to help. There's a lot of tools that we'll talk about, whether it's the binders, these paper, the paper reference material, as well as a website. Apollo has a great website and a distributor website, so it's really two websites, two resources we can go to find stuff. So anyway, without further ado, appreciate the time. Apollo, we threw this out there because we think it's a pretty big deal. 5-year warranty on any products that we make here. Excludes, there's probably 5 or 6% of the products that we sell that we do not make, which would be considered imports due to the pricing restraints or pricing constraints. Anything we do make in North South Carolina carries a 5-year warranty. So that's good to know. Peace of mind kind of stuff. It's quality. They build quality and they stand behind their products. A little bit about the history of the company you may or may not know. I use the terms Conbraco and Apollo interchangeably. The company started as Consolidated Brass Company. That was shortened to Conbraco when they moved to the Carolinas. We were getting Consolidated Valves mail, and Consolidated Valve was getting our mail, so we changed the name to Conbraco, a truncation of that Consolidated Brass. They moved to the Carolinas in '57, as the story goes, because Cal and Glenn, who are now the third generation, their grandfather liked to golf. They grew up in Michigan. It's cold, not a lot of golf courses out there. Moved it to Carolinas. There's plenty of warm and golf. So that's why they wound up just outside of Charlotte. In '68, they came out with the Apollo ball valve, which prior to that, they were boiler goods and relief valves and sight gauges and things like that. Plumbing goods. They had a beer goods division where they turned brass to make beer taps and things for the brewery industry. '68, they came out with a ball valve, which at that time you had Lunkenheimer and Jamesbury and Worcester and a few brands that aren't even around anymore. Big behemoth valve companies. They came out with kind of like a little engine that could. They came out with a small, relatively inexpensively priced US-made bronze two-piece ball valve, the 70 series. And from '68 on to 2014, that's been a meteoric rise. In 2006, due to that popularity, they changed the branding of products from Conbraco relief valves and Apollo ball valves to everything's Apollo. So you open a box, it'll say, an Apollo relief valve will say Apollo valves manufactured by Conbraco Industries. Just playing on that brand awareness and that brand preference, basically. So we say everything is now Apollo. Moving forward, in 2010, Albert, prior to 2010, Apollo had always been Conbraco, had always been owned by the Mozak family. 2010, a company in the Netherlands, a holding company, purchased Apollo. And basically what that equated to was we've now got a brother and a sister, Lasco and Elkhart are now sister and brother companies for us. And they've empowered Cal and Glenn Mozak, who are still on board, to go out and make acquisitions and go out and have the money in the pocketbook to go out and write those checks to grab companies that are good fits. So we just got a thing in the mail yesterday announcing new products for this year. So we'll be coming out with a full line of internally produced products to include 600-pound flange ball valves, more industrial stuff, more butterflies, and an acquisition that they haven't announced yet. But anyway, that's been a good thing for us. It's given us a lot more money, and they pump a lot more money back into the facilities. They've always done that, been known to do that, but this gave them the ability to get into the forging of valves. We now have a forged brass ball valve. Most of the forged brass ball valves come from Italy, and then they went to China. Apollo kind of completed the circle and spent millions of dollars on forging equipment. to now make forged, inexpensive brass ball valves in the U.S. now, the U.S. flag on them. So pretty proud about that. So a little bit of history for you. 86 years. This is the plant in Michigan, Detroit, and that is the foundry. It's 8 years old in Painesville, South Carolina. As you guys know, Detroit is not what it used to be. There's actually the rep who has Detroit has sent pictures back of what that building looks like, and it's all graffitied and overgrown, and it's not what it used to be anyway. Quick facts: third generation Mosaics are still at the helm, so that's a peace of mind to me. We've had the line my dad's had it for 45 years. I've been with my dad for 25 years. It's nice to know that that family is still firmly entrenched and employed and actively day to day dealing with valves and sales. Continuously investing, which I mentioned with the forging equipment, all kinds of welding equipment on our latest generation backflow preventers are all welded together, stainless steel, and that was a huge investment. That has been done, and they operate over 1 million square feet of manufacturing space in North and South Carolina. So that's something that they're real proud about. These are the facilities. Matthews is just outside Charlotte. If you drew a line from Charlotte, North Carolina to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Conway's in Myrtle Beach. This is where we do all of the steel, carbon steel, stainless steel, any of the alloys. It's a lost wax process. It's a different process, more appropriate for carbon and stainless valves. And in between these two locations is the Pageland facility, the bronze foundry, and the assembly plant and the distribution center. So they're all pretty closely knit together, which is nice. If we need everything ships from the distribution center, but if we have valves that are finished in Conway, say some carbon steel valves or some stainless steel valves, we can go ahead and say, hey, these valves are ready. Don't ship them to the distribution center. Ship them right to IPS. They need them for Wednesday or Thursday or something. So there's a lot of integration there, which is nice. And again, this foundry, this is the picture when it was just built. There's been 2 additions to it, and it was done at a time when everyone was in China and happy in China. That's changed a lot now too with the advent of lead-free. We never went to China. We've always been here, and it's again a testament to their vision. They're the luckiest guys in the world, the smartest guys, but they've been very, very reactive, or be able to react very well to the lead-free casting technologies. Having it right here. Other manufacturers struggle a little bit with that. This is just a little dark picture, but a picture of just the casting facilities in Conway, South Carolina, where they pour the carbon and stainless. Again, I never get to go from there. I go down there a lot. It's always refreshing to see Americans make an American-made valve. So it's we take it for granted a little bit. You know, you get a box of valves in, and they go out to the customer, and it really impacts you when you walk down on these plants. And these guys are out there sweating, and it's a dangerous job, but they're doing it here, and we're proud of that. All valves are tested in the open and closed position at the end of the 20 or 30 assembly lines where the men and women put these valves together. There's a dunk tank at the end of every line. The valve goes in, it sits in the open and closed position, air underwater, 80 psi water, open and closed, and if any bubbles appear, they are sent to rework or to scrap, and the good valves go in here. That's why when you open the valves, you hear that pop. If you're familiar, if you've seen that with the Apollo valves, they pop. That's just the air pressure from the test of the factory. So, a little bit about us. We're located in Exton, PA, which is just outside of Westchester, north of Westchester, between the Turnpike and 30, actually between 30 Business and 30 Bypass. So not too far away. Just about what was it, Joe? About an hour and 28 minutes door to door. So depending on the time.
Hour and 25 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Depending on how urgent the need is, right? Kimbraco's been in business for, it's now 86 years. I need to update that slide. Still family owned and operated, 1 million square feet. Within the last 5 years, they've invested $35 million. A lot of it was into that forging equipment I mentioned, and the welding equipment. Again, I mentioned we've already been the reps for 45. Hopefully, we'll be here for another 45. Get my son involved. He's in 7th grade now. The door's wide open. Our facility is 5,000 square feet, where we have warehouse and sales operations. We stock stocking rep. We stock valves, ball valves through 4-inch, actually through 6-inch, and the backflow preventers through 10-inch, and butterfly valves through 12-inch. So there's a lot of stuff there: relief valves, pressure reducing valves, things like that. Things that you may be familiar with that Vernon Bitzer might have. We try to model our operation off of that. If you're familiar to going to them for a 25 ADB inch and a quarter we have the same thing as an alternate for you guys. 25 years, lots of experience in the field, and I'm still a certified tester, so if you have a backlog application or a backflow question, or your customers have backflow questions, we're certified to go out and work in the field and show up not just as a rep to answer questions, but physically to get the test kit out and troubleshoot a valve and get your customer back online. This is our facility. We've got 3 full-time inside people, Jim Himes, Will, my brother, and Judy Molino. Jim's in there at 7. We officially, the phones go to message at 4:30, but we're usually about 5:30. So if you can always hit somebody's extension, get somebody after that fact, or you can try our cell phones. So we try to make ourselves readily available, especially when you might need us. We both, Will and Jimmy, live towards Coatesville. There's a UPS store on their way home, and I live in Westchester, the other side, and there's a UPS terminal on my way home. So if you get a hold of us anytime before 8 o'clock p.m., we can still ship something if we've got it in our building. So it's good to know if you need something funky or your guy goes, I've got to have it tomorrow, we can still ship it out. You can also have someone come down and pick it up. I know it's a little bit of a hike for you guys out here, but someone's got to have something. We have 4-inch press ball valve. They can come pick it up and we can make sure it's all billed through you guys. So keep that in mind. UPS daily pickup, motor freight, distributor pickups, contractor pickups. It's 103 backflows now. We've got in stock 2.5 through 8. And over 300 2-inch and down. So we've got a pretty good inventory of the backflows, and we're migrating all of that to lead-free. So it's probably 70-30, 70 lead-free, 30 leaded right now. So as that continues to go. As far as operations for us, order entry, Judy handles all typically the phone answering, order entry, anything to do with the order, expedites, additions, deletions, tracking numbers and so forth. I'll show you the screens that we actually look at, and you guys can do the same thing for yourselves, and then call us if you need to, but you'll be looking at the same screens that Judy does and Will and I do, and so does Jim. Quotations and information, technical information on Apollo or Tylock. Will's more industrial, and Jim's more commercial. So if you know that, what they're coming from, they've both been cross-trained, but their specialties or their strengths are Will's more industrial, carbon, stainless actuation, and Jim's more commercial, bronze, 2-piece, 3-piece, backflows, pressure reducing valves, stuff like that. Returns or shortages are handled by Jim. We're a small office, we all tend to chip in and do things, but if you've got a return, I would start with Jim. That's typically how we route things. Outside sales that covering you guys are typically myself and Joe Kelly, the distinguished Joe Kelly. So it's a little bit of how we operate on a daily basis, and keep me posted. A lot of times, if we're busy, you guys are busy. If you can't get an answer, and with these new tools, I believe you'll be able to get answers quicker. I'm in the car a lot. You can always call me too. You can myself say, hey, Jimmy's working on this, but I got to light a fire. I need an answer. Somebody's coming unglued. We can jump in and help too. But those are the traditional channels we try to operate through. ST forms, if you guys do much work with government or PA, we do ST forms where most people have given up. Backflow preventers, ST forms, relief valve ST forms, pressure reducing valves. 98% of our ball valves we can fill out ST forms. We do it a lot. Here's one for rentals for a job. So keep us in mind on that. A lot of people stop looking for a 6x8 relief valve. No one has a 6x8 relief valve made here anymore. We do. So keep us in mind on any applications you might need for that stuff. All right, into the line. Apollo valves typically break into 2 different categories: an industrial category or industrial book, which is what this book is here, and a commercial book. The industrial book covers all the ball valves, bronze and stainless steel, inline check valves, sight gauges, stainless steel and bronze. The relief valves in bronze, carbon, and stainless steel. Actuation. Do you guys do much actuation as it comes out?
Time to time.
Okay. Full line of pneumatic and electric actuation if you need it. Bar stock needle valves in brass, carbon, and stainless. The backflow preventers, and then strainers in bronze, carbon, and cast iron. Fit into the industrial book.
And these are all made in the USA.
Back up. Everything is made in the USA except for the strainers. Unfortunately, we had strainers that were made here, and we couldn't sell them. They just weren't priced right. You don't want to pay for a 4-inch cast iron 125, and you go, I'm sure it's probably less than I quoted you, and invariably That was it. And butterflies, the same problem. Any iron, cast iron, really no one's pouring cast iron, or ductile. So anyway, that's the only thing that's not domestic, and I'll try to point out anything else. Here's your butterflies right here. Those are not, but everything else is. Again, it runs in the 96 to 98% domestic stuff for us. And the only reason they go offshore is because the market won't support domestic
Right.
product at that price point. So this is your commercial stuff, driven by the bronze ball valves, 2-piece, 3-piece, plumbing items, Y strainers, pressure-reducing valves, and specialties, thermal expansion relief valves on the ball valve there. Your butterflies, your traditional HVAC on-off, unit N, EPDM by ton. We do have the 145, which I'll talk a little bit. It is assembled here. It's about as domestic as anyone offers. So I think Milwaukee has one. It's sourced from globally procured materials, but assembled in USA. We do the same thing if there's a domestic thread that needs to be met. So that's available. Safety relief, steam, air, liquid, and hot water. We cover a lot of ground on relief valves, and we're not often thought about that. Keep that in mind. Actuation I mentioned. Mixing valves, a full line of those. The backflows, and then gate globe and check fall into the more commercialized. Now there's some bleed through from industrial to commercial, but for for the overview, we've tried to break those into 2 separate categories and then 2 separate catalogs as well. There's a commercial book that kind of accompanies this industrial book. The ball valves, which drive a lot of our sales. We're known for ball valves. We cover a lot of ground in the ball valves. We cover, or in valving, the rotary valves, balls, butterflies. You've got the needle valves in the bar stock. You've got the globes in bronze, and the wedge gates in bronze, swing checks in bronze. We cover a lot of the, I call utility valves, steam, air, water, places where you're using a lot of your manufacturing base. Quick run through the valves, body styles, and that's how this catalog breaks it down, so I'm kind of mirroring that. Your unibody valves, there's a unibody valve right here. It's probably one of the first valves that came out in the market. We offer them 1/4 through 2, we offer them in bronze, carbon, and stainless. What's the advantages of a unibody valve are? It's small, it's light, it's less expensive. The disadvantages are it's extremely reduced port, just because you've got that piece of pipe with threads on either end and everything has to go in. So you've got that narrow envelope to stuff 2 seats in a ball. But you've got one less leak path, so there's basically just where the 2 pipes screw in, there's not a retainer. So
It basically double reduced. Joe.
Exactly, thanks Joe. Yeah, there's a lot of terms for it. There's reduced port, regular port, standard port, anything that's a 1-inch valve. It doesn't have a 1-inch hole in the ball, it's reduced. When you want to call it double, some people use it, we call it standard port.
Unibody usually double reduced.
Absolutely, yeah, unibodies are considered double reduced. That's a 1/2-inch port in a 1-inch valve. So, take the good with the bad. 2-piece valves, where we've really made our name. Bronze, carbon, stainless. Duplex, super duplex, different corrosion properties of different stainlesses. We just came out with those. Alloy 20 Inconel, Hastelloy, Monel, nickel, and titanium. We're known for this valve right up here, the 70 series, bronze 2-piece body, retainer and body. But the factory is very, very capable of pouring, and successful at pouring a lot of these valves. If you get into any applications with alloys, please consider us. We're typically up against imports on any of these, which we do pour domestically, and the turnaround times are usually 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks if we had to start from sourcing a Monel ingot and melting it down, which to us sounds preposterous. Who's going to wait 10 weeks for a valve? You go, I just got quoted 14 to 24 weeks from China. So sometimes it doesn't sound as bad as it is, but keep us in mind on the alloys. This 2-piece valve again lends itself to all these body materials. The pressure classes, depending on the body material, bronze is typically 600. You get into your 1,000 with stainless and carbon, 2,000, 15, 2,000, and 3,000. 3,000 pounders we offer in carbon. The higher the pressure, we typically go to carbon steel valves. And we also offer an actuation package with this valve. Basically, this valve with a 4-point mounting pad, and it does incorporate this type of a stem design, which instead of having 1 ring of Teflon, it's got 5. So it just wears better as that being the major wear point as you're opening and closing a valve remotely. That holds up a lot better. Three-piece valves, again, the name would suggest, we offer 1/4 through 4-inch. Most brands stop at 2. We go 2.5, 3, and 4 on the bronze 3-piece, and we also offer a 3-inch on stainless. So we go on the larger sizes, and those are all domestic, all made in U.S. The pressure classifications are 600 on the bronze, 1500, and class 600 we can do on the carbon and stainless. All the body materials we can pour into 3 pieces as well. All of our 3-piece valves are full port, easily automated. This has a 4-point mounting pad on it, both the carbon and stainless valves do. And all the various end connections, NPT, threaded, sweat, socket, and then all your butt welds. And everything but a clamped end, basically, we offer. Flange end entry valves, which is basically a reduced port flange valve. We offer 1/2 through 10, class 600, class 300 through 2-inch. We're just introducing, as of yesterday, a class 600 valve, flanged end, basically just higher pressures. Fatter flanges, bigger, thicker bodies, holds more tempo, more pressure. These are available in several materials. As you can see, carbon stainless, alloy 20, Hastelloy nickel, and all of the duplex and super duplex stainless as well. Standard and full port actuator ready. A lot of commonality in Apollo has been some of their success. A lot of their successes. There's a lot of mixability. So that mounting pad is the same mounting pad on our 3-piece valves. It's the same mounting pad on our top entry valves. So there's a lot of similar parts, similar handles, similar mounting kits. Just makes it easier to deal with. But that's your reduced port flanged. This is your split body or full port. Split body just meaning you've got a 2-piece body. Same setup except we go larger. We go to 12-inch on these valves, both 150 class 6 300. Carbon, low carbon stainless, alloy 20. Carbon and stainless probably would be most of your business, but you get a nice opportunity to quote anything alloy. I mean, you go from a $400 valve to a $2,800 valve, real quick if you jump to a titanium or Hastelloy or something like that. So don't shy away from those. Tons of options as well, depending on what your end user might be looking for. Union end, double and single union end, double end carbon, double union end stainless, and single union end bronze through 2-inch. Just allows them to incorporate a union within the valve as opposed to a 3-piece valve or a separate union, separate piece if they want to break the system apart. It also allows you to mix ends. You can go thread by socket and accomplish that transition too. 3-way valves. Do you guys do much with 3-way valves? Again,
Sometimes.
the biggest thing to remember here is we've got 2 bodies, stainless and bronze. It is a diverter type. It's not a T pattern.
Okay.
It's a diverter. So you've either got an L port. So you've got, I'll use the 3 and 6 in transition at a 45-degree travel. The handle would connect all 3, and then at the complete 90-degree, you've got 9 and 6. So it's an L port diverter. And if your customers are using 3 ways, they'll know it's a diverter or it's a T-port. I won't alter your mind with the T-port, but suffice to say that the flow patterns on a T-port valve are tough to get your mind around, just because there's so many options and so many ways the water can flow. This is pretty simple. Bronze and stainless, like I mentioned, thread and sweat. 600 pound. Top entry valves. On the top of the technology pyramid for us basically gets us into applications where you may not find a typical parallel seated, soft seated ball valve. Higher temps, more abrasive surfaces, things like that. You can get a ball valve in there, would be the top entry valve. It's a problem solver, so if you've got valves that aren't lasting and you say, hey, what's that top entry you talked about? I'm working on a slurry of whatever it is. Maybe this might be the solution for you, so keep that in mind. It's inline serviceable, so you can get, once the valve's installed, it becomes an integral part of the pipeline. You can pop the top, get into your seats and ball and stem and replace that stuff as needed. So it becomes more of a user-friendly valve. The bar stock valves, like I mentioned, brass, carbon, and stainless. They're all domestic. We now offer 2. We offer a 5,000 PSI and a 10,000 pound valve. Those 3 biomaterials and then thread sweat socket and thread by socket mixing matching. We also have a angle type valve, so if you get an application for an angle valves, keep that in mind. Gate globes and checks, we talked a little bit about. It's the bronze offering is all domestic through 3-inch. The cast iron 2 through 24 is not. That's another one of the few products that is not domestic, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find a domestic. When we had to fill a survey, I said, "We're coming out with gate globes and checks. Is anybody offering domestic?" And I don't know if anybody will sign an ST form on an iron valve. I couldn't find anybody, but we cannot. They're looking at perhaps doing a assembled in U.S., but the valve will not be made here. It'll be brought in componentry and then put together. As what Milwaukee does, that I think NIPCO does some of that. So our biggest competition
Do the
is
same thing.
very similar to that. So. Bronze, lead-free is also available in the gate globes and checks. And you've got your end connection thread, sweat, and then the flange on the larger size stuff. The butterflies, like I mentioned, you've got vanilla and chocolate basically, and driven by price point. This is your least expensive cast iron valve. We've got a ductile iron valve, and this is the LD145, which will give us the Assembled in America tag, and it has a big, Assembled in America plate on the collar. Again, pretty simple EPDM unit Viton. The discs are ductile aluminum, bronze, or stainless. So it's pretty point and shoot on the butterflies. Do you get into much applications for butterflies above that, like Teflon lined or
Above.
funky or stuff? On butterflies?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This would be on the more, I guess, chilled water, raw water stuff. The ball valves. Any questions? That's kind of a quick overview on some of the industrial stuff. We cover a lot of bases. Keep us in mind if you've got questions as far as what does this cross over to on a Milwaukee valve or something. You can let me know.
This is where I have trouble.
The numbering.
Yeah.
Well, you're in for this. It makes perfect sense. So don't worry. I'm going to give you these if you want. This is a quick little reference sheet which is located in this industrial binder on the 2-piece valves, which is a lot of what we sell to you guys. It gives you a little bit about the body material, the pressure class, the size, range, and so forth, in a one-stop kind of a portion. So that's a start. The numbering system, love it or hate it, it's 7 digits, and in some cases 8 or 9. But what's good about it is all those digits tell us something. So the first 2 digits right here on the, like I said, 70 series. The 70 series would be bronze. That tells us typically the body style and the body material. The next digit, say it's a 71, 7100. Tells us 1 tells us it's female MPT. 2 would be solder, union end, spring return, 3-way. It tells us again what kind of end connections typically are on the valve. The middle digit is a placeholder, most typically for stainless steel trim. And then you get to your pipe size. This is the 5th digit. 3 would be 1/2 inch, so 70, 103 would be bronze 2-piece 1/2 inch. And then 01 gets us into all the options that we can offer along with that valve. So carbon steel, like a carbon steel 2-piece carbon steel valve, 73A is a A105 carbon steel valve. 100 would be threaded, 4 for stainless trim, and then 4 for 3/4 inch.
Because every time I think I have it like a 70 series, and then I call and they change it to 77, and I'm like,
77 is full port. So it's bronze, but it's full port. Yeah.
Okay.
If we change it for availability, or if maybe the spec reads full port.
okay.
But this will give you the basic platform, and this will give you the sizing and what's installed.
And this is in our books?
Yes, it's actually in the 3-ring binder. It's the new updated version. It's in.
That's what I
I have more new ones downstairs.
It's updated from what's on my screen. That's what I mean.
What are they doing downstairs, Robert?
We talked about it last time. Here it is. Pages 4 and 5. It's basically maybe a little clearer and updated to include the first 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And sometimes we'll
Oh, I
go.
might not have, I don't have the right book.
No, let me see the page 4 and 5. Have that on there in the introduction. Yeah, the first.
In the front.
My God.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You guys are up to date. This is the same exact thing except with an updated version. The first two digits, again, all this, the bottom is 70, 73A. Those are, if you want to highlight them, those are your most popular. The 70 is two-piece bronze. The 77 is two-piece full port. The 73A is carbon. 76s and 76Fs are stainless. 76 is stainless two-piece. 76F is full port stainless two-piece. And that's a lot of what you guys buy. Then you got the 83As and the 86As, which are the stainless and carbon three-piece, which we've been doing some business with you guys. So as much as it looks pretty cryptic, there is a Rosetta Stone that you can find it out. Instead of saying it's a 70 series, well, that only tells me it's a bronze two-piece. I need more information. So a lot of the engineering firms will like our numbering system because they can specify the exact valve. And sometimes they'll put an X if they don't want to put the size. They'll put 7014X01, which means two-piece bronze, threaded stainless trim, X for half through 4 inch or whatever they're going to install, and then 01 for standard. The options, if it's an 01, it's standard lever. If it's anything else, again, I've just circled out some of the popular ones. Dash 57, clean for oxygen. So we put a dash 57, take the 01 off, put a dash 57 on the end, and then you've got a valve that's clean for oxygen. Another common adder is a dash 64, which is 250-pound steam trim. So you take the 01 off the end and put a 64 on, you get steam trim. Are there any other options you guys run into, like dash 27s, which I've covered here? Latch locking lever. So you want a latch lock lever on that. You take the 01 off the end and put a dash 27. So 73A 145/27 gets you a carbon steel
You guys keep
threaded
stocking the steam
1 inch.
Yeah, we have some.
So are these basically all lead-free?
Anything with a lead-free has got an LF. Good point. So if it was lead-free, it would be 70 LF
See,
10301.
just threw me off right there again.
Well, a lot of the manufacturers, like Watson's doing the same thing. They're putting, instead of it's a 007, it's an LF 007.
Okay, but how am I gonna know if you even offer it in the lead-free?
I can show you online. The online will have it.
Okay.
Anything bronze we have in lead-free.
Okay.
So, and we've got a real solid offering of lead-free valves. So, depending on the spec, two-piece bronze, three-piece bronze, we can offer a lead-free valve for it.
Okay.
So
So
I
the
just,
LF would go after the first
after
two
the first
numbers?
two designations as far as what type of valve it is, and it'd have to be bronze, obviously. We
Okay.
did get our stainless steel valves listed with NSF for lead-free. Kind of counterintuitive, but we had to get it listed. There was no lead in stainless, but we got them listed so they can be used as well. Any other questions on that? I'm going to show you some stuff online that you can use to punch in some series and stuff like that to find stuff. Quickly blasting through the relief valves. I mention this again because we're the only AD vendor that is a relief valve provider. We do offer basically the three types of valves you're going to run into: on boiler, ASME Section 1, off boiler, ASME Section 8, like at a pressure reducing valve station or something that's not fired, and then HV, which is typically low pressure steam or hot water. So that covers probably 80% of the applications we run into industrially. So we got a strong offering there. And it's domestic. This is our base model 19 series, which is equivalent to the Kunkel 6010, if you might be familiar with that. I'll pass those around if you thank you. That sheet going around has our listing of 19 series, the inlet and the outlet, the orifice, your net price, and then what Kunkel valve equates to, and what consolidated valve equates to. So it gives you a quick point and sheet. They're all domestic. The Kunkel 6010s are made in China, so that gives us a nice leg up on that, and we're price competitive. The S&S valve, which is at the bottom of that page, is our local setting station, so we can provide valves in a matter of days, same day or next day, depending on how badly or how fast you might need one. We offer off of those in our 119 series, which goes through all the way up to 8 inch, 6 in, 8 out, which is the Kunkel 6052, if you're familiar with that. That's one of the valves that we mentioned that we are domestic. You find them a lot on state jobs, universities, larger boilers, institutions, hospitals, stuff like that. ASME Section 4 hot water is like a 174A, bronze, all bronze construction, high capacities. We stock those in Exton. It's a nice problem solver too if you've got a customer that needs Section 4 hot water relief valve. We typically have them the next day. You can have them same or next day. Your 12, 13, and 14 series are low pressure steam. Low pressure is considered anything below 15 and below set pressure. We've got a full line of those depending on what inlet and outlet. We go all the way up to 3 inch, 3 in, 3 out. All domestic. The backflow preventers, very, very comparable lineup to Watts. These would be your threaded units, 2 inch and down, available lead free. So it would be a 4A series, it would be 4A LF after the first 2 digits. Double checks on RPs, cross over to the 007s and 009s of the Watts. The larger sizes through 12 inch look just like this. As I mentioned, that welding equipment and cutting equipment. These bodies are all now stainless. We've got, this is basically our 3rd generation valve, so we've had them on the market for, originally came out about 30 years ago. This is the 3rd generation valve. What's nice about it is, it's double check, it's a 709, it's a 909, it's the exact same body. So it's the same lane length, it's the same repair parts, except for the first check. The relief valve can be field retrofitted, so if you wanted to turn a double check into an RPZ, you could do that in the field if necessary. With an extra, we would send us additional parts. The first check would be different, and the relief valve and the sensing line would come in that kit, but it can be done. So it's nice to know. Very easy to work on. I have a full line of pressure reducing valves as well, and those are also available lead-free. Most of the backflows and pressure reducing valves are only available in lead-free, as they touch potable water, drinking water. These would cross over to U5, your 25 ABs, your 223s, I should say, your 115s. So full line. Those are all domestic as well, and all bronze cap, bronze body.
Do you stock any of those, Nixon?
We do stock them.
And what about the set pressure that I would need?
They are set at 50 at the factory, as is pretty much all the manufacturers. We also have a low pressure set for like boiler feeds, like that 15-pound boiler feed pressure. We stock them all 3 sizes: the low pressure, the mid range, and the high range. We stock the 223 and the U5 valves, as well as the inexpensive it's an X35.
What about the safety valves, those set pressures?
We set them at, well, we have them in stock at 15, and all the hot waters we have at 30, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, kind of all the traditional stops. We also stock the pressure reducing valves, the control valves, 3, 4, and 6 inch, like the A125 or A115s from Watts. All right, so that's a quick review. I just want to give you a little idea of what we've got. We match up industrially. We probably maybe pick up where Milwaukee leaves off on some of the industrial stuff. And commercially kind of cross over to a lot of the Watts stuff. As far as tools on the website, this is the portal to the Apollo website, which is worked in practice. This is what pops up when you log on. Bob was good enough to print out some applications. Basically, you fill that in like you would for any website, and create a password. They'll email it back to you and say, "Welcome to Apollo Online. Thanks for joining," and so forth. This is what you looks at when you log in. You'll all have your own individual logins. This is Mr. Stahls, who's nice enough to let me borrow his. We see a lot more information on ours because we've got a lot of rep interface. We can go in and pull presentations down. We can go in and do credit apps and all kinds of stuff online. This is what you guys see, so I wanted to let you know show you what you saw. What you can do on here is you can view invoices, you can do packing slips. You get a shipment and it goes, the packing slip was missing, or the box that had the packing slip was missing. You can go in and pull packing slips off this, as well as invoices. You can go in and do a purchase item summary. So you want to go, what exactly did we buy last year? You can go in and pull up everything you bought last year. It compares this year's quantities to last year's quantities, and then a year-to-date quantity. This is the one I use a lot as far as search items. You can go in and someone calls and says, I need a 710301, or what would be a good valve, you guys? 2-piece bronze or full port? Or 27, let's try it. So that gives you, under search items, which is under the items category, search items, you can type in the part number, and it'll give you everything that's in stock with that option. So you see a bunch of valves, they've got 4,600 of them with that handle, they've got 320, or 342 with a auto drain, 4127.
Now this is factory stock or your stock?
This is factory stock.
Factory
This
stock.
is showing you everything in inventory. You can export to Excel if you ever needed to play with it and try to find some stuff. But this gives you everything if you've got the exact part number. You can also go into under pricing and inventory availability. You click on that, and that'll give you, we'll look up the same value, 70, 103, 27, 67, 27. Do it again. So this is, you would call me up and say, John, I need a 1/2-inch bronze valve with a lock handle. This is exactly the same screen I would look at. This would tell you the model number, if it's any different than the part number, the list price, these are just price internal stuff, pricing groups, UPC codes, how many are available, if there's a box quantity, which is just one, there's not, the weight, price group, the discount group, and the item class is 70 series. So I'm going to hand out, you may already have a copy of this, but this is a listing of your multipliers. So if you've got access to that, you can pull up, list price is 2117, your bronze discount's a 5605, multipliers you 2117 times 0.5605, bang, you pay the cost on that. So that should hopefully help some of the stuff that you may be calling us for, or we may not be able to process fast enough for you. This is exactly, literally, thank you, this is literally the price window that we're looking at when we do a price check for you.
Before you leave
Yep.
that screen, if it would say that it is not in stock, if you click the option below there, send email to request availability,
Yep.
they usually respond to that pretty quickly.
Yep.
I've used that a number of times.
It takes you right to your email program, and you can say 15 pieces, whatever it is, and then, like you said, they'll send it back to you. That's what we have to do. I mean, it's literally what we have to do. If you ask us for delivery, go, if they're not in stock, I'll be back to you, and that's what we have to do. So you're more than welcome to do that as well. You can also go and say they didn't have any. We can go into search for related stuff. You hit search related, and that'll pull up a window with anything that's similar. So anything that's got a 27 attached to it, and you can, like I mentioned, you can pull up anything else that's similar. You can also take digits off in this thing, so you can widen your search. You can say, I just want bronze 1/2-inch. What do they have in stock? Anything with a 1/2-inch bronze configuration. That'll give you everything. Now, the thing on the bottom, you just have to mention, if depending on how big your screen or your monitor is, you can make that to 30, or you can make it to 90 items, or you can play with that. And then there's different screens. There's 4 screens of how many? There's 40 or 50 options there that they would have in stock, or you can check in stock. So you can see we make the 1/2-inch ball valve probably 200 different ways. Stainless trim, same deal. You can see, oh, we don't have any O1s, but we've got with stainless lever and nut. Oftentimes some of these adders or it's maybe $1 more for a stainless lever and nut. No big deal. We can offer that. We wouldn't even need it. The customer wouldn't even probably notice. O2 grounding. It's just a little spring washer under the handle that grounds the valve. O227. You've got it with a grounding washer and a lock lever. So it's a pretty nice way of trying to, if we didn't have the valve you're looking for, we could find a very similar alternate. Stem extensions they've got, the hose cap they've got, which is different. Here's a stainless steel lever nut. Again, that's one of those $1 adders that you would just pass on to your customer if you needed it. We could ship that out of stock. Any questions on that? Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. The ones I typically use are save the sale under items and pricing, and then you can also go into orders and check any orders. So you go to order checking and say, where's that order we have? This will pull up any open order you guys have with us. You can search for all. You can search for only the orders that are open, or things that are closed as well. And say you knew what part number you're looking for, you're not sure what order Bob put it on, you can hit find, and you can type in, whatever, 62-10101. Oh, there it is, it'll highlight it for you, or you can put highlight all. If there's any other orders that have that valve on it, or if you know the part number you're looking for, you can search and see. So you can also sort by any of these little headings. So we're going to look at this order P1203-291. There's still 3 line items that are back ordered. Everything else is shipped. This is the expected ship date. If it's shipped, these half-inch valves right here, they shipped on the 16th. You can click on that truck and it'll tell you exactly where they are. It'll give you a copy of the packing slip. The 2-inch valves we're looking for. So they are, you can see what box they're in. And you can track it right there on the screen. So we'll look for 1.5-inch valves. That ship motor freight, these ship UPS ground. The 1Z numbers are UPS ground. That'll take you right to the UPS portal. It'll tell you that they were received the 18th, 2:02 Friday. Signed for by LAN. Again, this is a lot of stuff that we do on our own. We're happy to help you, but this is real point and shoot. You get it a lot quicker than having to call us. And it all comes back to this kind of this home screen here with these pull-down windows. Any questions, guys? You want to try another search or pricing? Sales reports.
No, sometimes I just don't have time to pop online to get it.
Right.
That's my problem.
Everybody, trust me, we were talking, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, and said, look, we're all challenged. Trust me, we're all challenged. Your customers are getting squeezed, so they're coming down and squeezing you, and then you guys are like, I gotta have this by lunch, and we're like, I got 14 things we gotta get done by lunch.
Yeah.
So we're all, this is hopefully a tool that can take some of that stuff off of our plate, some of the stuff off of your plate, and go, yo, hang on a second, I got it right here. I'm looking for, yep, Apollo's got those in stock. I know what my number is. You can get some of that stuff point and shoot.
And you can, if you have a part number and you don't have time, I'm very familiar with the website and I can usually get it pretty quickly. So just say, Bob, I need the 71.
If I have a part-time, I can call Judy and she'll get it for me real fast,
Well,
too.
I mean, but she could be working on something too,
Yeah,
so.
I know.
We definitely want to use this tool. This
Oh, I
tool
think
is
it's a good
available.
tool.
We want
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
just like Alpha and Mary. I mean, I use them all the time, but there's times that
I think it's a
time
matter of getting familiar with it. When they just changed this 2 months ago, and you should have heard the mutiny in the office, because everyone gets comfortable, in our office,
Yeah,
everyone knows what
changes
button to
something.
click, and they know what screens they keep open. You can keep several of these screens open, like I've got checking order history, shipment tracking, search items. If you wanted, you could keep several of them open at the same time, but everyone's gotten more familiar with it and more comfortable with it, and that has a lot to do with how often it's
And
used.
there's no way of getting out of the box quantities either, is it?
It'll tell you what's box quantity. If it's a box quantity item, it's considered a stock item, which you guys should have in stock. If you want to break it, you can ship direct. So say, I only need 2 of these valves. Bob's not going to put them in a stock order. He just got a stock order in. I want to drop ship these to whoever it is. I can, as long as it's $50 and drop ship, they'll break the box.
Oh, they will?
Yeah. Unless it's an import item. There's a few short items like the 94As, a few of the items that we don't make. But that's
See, I didn't know
much
that.
shorter list
Will break box.
on drop ships. The other website that I use a lot is the Apollo Valves website. And this is the website where you can pull down spec sheets and technical data if need be. What's nice about this is there's windows and headers. You can pull literature, you can pull your current list prices, tech libraries and so forth. I typically just use the pictures. So if I want to look up a ball valve, you can type in here 70. I know it's a 70 series, and that'll pull down anything with a 70 in it. Or it's a 70-100 series. That'll give you all the 70-100 series. If that's doesn't fit or you don't have a part number, you can go, I know it's a ball valve. What body material? It's a stainless steel ball valve. And this will give you every ball valve we make in stainless steel by body style. Like I talked about, the 2-piece valves, the 3-piece valves, and you get into your 3-ways we talked about, your flanged valves. And that way you can get right to. So say They want a two-piece, just a vanilla two-piece stainless steel valve, 76 series. It takes you to this window. I'm sorry, that's a little small. It takes you to this window where you can download a picture if you want to send. Is this what this valve looks like? Yeah, that's it. Any documentation, the installation, operating, and maintenance. You can get any kit listing. So say you say, I need to know what the stem extension for that is, or what's the locking handle for that 76 series. It'll pull up this sheet, which you can print or you can save to your drive, or just look it up every time you want. This will give you a partial listing of some of the most common options that valve takes. The seat kits, stem extension, and so forth. Back to, so we can also get the kit listings, and also get the spec sheet. So it'll pull up a spec sheet, and it'll give you basically what's in that book. I'm finding more and more that I don't even use price sheets or those books. I do it all online. So I'm getting, despite my aversion to that, I haven't printed a price sheet in a long, long time, just because it's easier to do it on the PDFs. You can search and sort. But this is what you get, and then you guys do that for other lines? You're familiar with like attaching it to emails and stuff?
I've done yours already too.
Yeah, what's nice is this gives you the whole 76 series family, if you will, all the way through 3-inch. Then it gives you the data, the flow curves, the characteristics, all in one attachment. So you can forward that to your customer. Your T&P curves here, and that's all good to go. Or you can do it for any other materials.
So that you can switch the view on that.
Oh, yeah.
To the list, give you a snapshot of the specs too.
Right. So instead of doing
Picture
this,
doesn't help you.
yeah, instead of doing this larger format in boxes by body materials, you can do a list, and you can just scroll right down. Some people like that a little easier. It's a little more easier to deal with. Same sort by body style, 2-piece, 3-piece. But again, like Bob said, it gives you a little bit of a description. The 86B series, it's threaded, full port stainless, and the picture I think gives you a lot of, at least helps you narrow it down. There's your 86Rs we offer, the larger style valves through 3-inch. Same information. Then you can click here for additional information. Takes you back to that same window we just looked at. Tech sheets, installation, operation, maintenance. Any other questions? I know it's a lot to absorb, but it is a great tool, and it literally is exactly what we use in our office every day, every single day. I printed out a little card. Once you get it in your memory, you can, or it'll save it to your favorites or whatever it is. But if you want to stick that on your desk or underneath your blotter, some people I know will even put their multipliers in the back. They'll put BR 5605, SS 65, CS 65, whatever. That way you've got it on a little bit of a more accessible.
I think I'm already set up for this.
Oh,
How do I
good.
find out? I can't remember.
You should be able to send them an email that you forgot. to
Okay.
your password. Let me get to the main screen.
I think Suzanne and I were doing something one time on there. And I set it up and then I never used it.
So it should be there, it should still be there. What that does, when everyone has their own account, it allows the company to turn accounts on and off. So say you move, I retired, or I'm taking a job, I'm gonna go drive a bus or something, they can turn that account off, and that way it's inactive.
Okay.
Happy to help you guys in any way, shape, or form. Trust me, it's very frustrating for us. We can't do all the work for you. We can't answer all the phones fast enough and do all the quotes fast enough. We'd love nothing more to do all that. It's our job. Your jobs have changed over the last 5 or 6 years, so have ours. The manufacturers push more stuff on us. The contractors push more on you. We used to get takeoffs to do a job. I need 17 pieces of this, 14 of that, 23 of that. Now we get, please see attached quote what you yeah, who's got time to do that takeoff? Obviously the distributor that sent it to us didn't. Now we have to take 3 hours and go sit in the lunchroom and take through all the takeoffs and hope we don't miss, stainless trim or a locking handle. So we feel the crunch just like you guys do. Hopefully these tools will give you the ability to do some of the stuff on your own. And hey, you're welcome to call anything. Hey, I'm sitting here on Apollo Island. Joe is in. I'm looking for the items thing. No, and then we're happy to help you. Trust me, those guys would answer those phone calls all day long. You're trying to help. We get a bunch of people that just, and no offense to anybody present. I was up in New York State. The guy goes, I handed the thing out to him, like, hey, you know, if you ever need anything as a, well, I'm too old, I'm never gonna use that. I go, all right, well, it's one guy that's not gonna use it. Now, maybe I'll find another guy in the office that'll use it, but sometimes you run into people that aren't gonna use it. We understand that. There's still printed versions and everything else. It is available, and we would love to have you guys use it. But again, it's literally what we're looking at. Same thing we're looking at. I also printed out a cross-reference chart for you guys for your books. This has a lot of the bronze stuff, and of note, Crane, Nibco, and Milwaukee's off on the right. So if you're familiar with some of those numbers, you can reverse engineer your way back to what an Apollo number might be.
That discount sheet and the current newest pricing is in the vendor price sheets folder too.
Yeah.
So,
Is there a cross-reference anywhere that we can get on there and here for like the relief valves and stuff? Like how you were running through them?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is
Yeah,
one-
now this one's got
Well, that you gave
Pump
us. but-
Consolidated.
And you also did, I'm trying to do the second page you read.
There's
The 25 AUVs.
Yep, I can send you a whole sheet of those. I
You
mean, we've
get-
got,
You
it's
mean the
like,
backflows and stuff?
And the
it's like 8
backflow.
pages, but it has everything by groups, pressure reducing valves.
That would be
Okay.
great to email one of us and then we'll
Okay,
maybe have them put it on our master.
Yes,
folder.
that can be saved. We have a master
Yeah.
file.
okay,
It can be saved and then all of our branches can access
Everybody can
it.
look at it.
yep,
And I would say send that to Bob.
okay.
You never know.
I'll send you all the cross-reference files I have, and you can throw them in there. They're great little things. Whether you're looking for an Apollo product, or you're trying to cross-reference something to something else, they're all on there. And, you know, there's this sheet. There's 7, 8 guys.
Yeah.
But I'll shoot those to you. You can throw in your folders. Again, we're not closing up shop or going anywhere. We're just trying to help streamline our efforts, help streamline your efforts, and get answers to the customers. That's the bottom line. So, thanks for sharing your lunch, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming out. And,
Thank you.
Thank you for the information.
yeah, no worries. And again, please feel free to call. We're just trying to streamline it. We in the office, and you guys are not under scrutiny. We get people that call and go, 7103s, are they domestic? You know, and you'll go, yeah, they're domestic. And these are guys that have had the line for 20, 30 years. So it's you're not alone in your struggle. Even people that have had the line a lot longer.
Well, we forget from time to time.
And I totally get that. We're here to help. Absolutely.
Okay.